So here we are. We're at the Cursed Relic DLC challenge, expert mode. Yeah, it's just a challenge I decided to take on, tried it, finished it, and now I'm here to go boss by boss, explaining my mentality of how I did it, and explain to you how to do it yourself if you want to take on this challenge. So yeah, this is the video. I'm gonna explain it out now. That's the intro. Let's go. Let's get right into it. Let's get it. Alright, the first boss is going to be Glomstone the Giant. First off, the shots that I really wanted to have were either the crack shot or the converge, because the converge will deal damage everywhere. It's a far shot, it will always hit, unlike the lobber or the spread, which is a short range shot. And for the crack shot, again, you always get shots in and it's homing, so you can take out all the minions on screen so they don't damage you easily. Now for Glomstone's attacks, for the spells that he shoots out of his mouth, you just dodge it like regular, not that big of a deal, and just parry the pink one so you can gain HP for free, since the Cursed Relic allows you to do that. The hardest thing about this fight is the board that he brings out with his hands, because since it's expert mode, it comes the whole way. It doesn't just stop halfway like in regular mode, it comes the full way to the front. So for that, you have to drop down in the front and dodge the gnomes on the ground by jumping one at a time so you don't take damage for no reason, and then jump back up and keep shooting. Now for the second phase of the fight, it's gonna be pretty hard to keep whatever shot that you have. As you can see, I have the pea shooter because I accidentally dashed at the end of the first phase, but realistically you aren't going to have the same shot as you did in the first phase, because you're going to be dashing all over the place. You're going to be stop shooting because the ball and the gnomes are going to be in the way, and you're going to need to dodge them to not take damage, because literally you're either at 1 or 2 HP and you cannot take damage. So my recommendation is, if you have a shot that you literally can't use, just use the ultimate on one of the sides so you can at least deal damage to it without wasting the shot. And mainly you want to have either the crack shot, twist up, or the charge, because the charge is a one and done type of deal, and the twist up is the easiest to hit because it literally arcs at the exact angle to hit either of the puppets. So again, the charge, the crack shot, or the twist up are going to be your main weapons to get in this phase. And for the last phase, you're really going to want to focus on the bones that he shoots out and where you're jumping to, and you also want to focus on being able to parry any of the bullets that the gnomes shoot out, because you're going to need all the health that you can get in this phase so you don't die on accident. I don't think the parry to get all the skeletons back up actually gives you HP, but if it does, then my bad. But if it doesn't, then you're going to want to parry almost all of the bullets so that you can actually gain HP if you didn't already use up all your chances to gain HP in the other phases. But in this phase, you're going to want the crack shot or the converge, because they are literally the only guns that help you in this phase, because you don't want to risk with the spread because you'll be in close range, and maybe the chaser, but that deals little to no damage and it's an expert mode boss. So in reality, you're going to only want to get the converge or the crack shot to defeat this phase, and focus exactly where you're jumping and when you need to dash or not. And that's the end of Glomstone the Giant. Now on to Mortimer Freeze. Mortimer Freeze is a pretty tricky boss to deal with in the challenge. For me, the shot that helped me the most throughout this fight is the converge, because as you can see on screen, throughout the first phase, I literally used the converge the entire time. You may want to use the spread as well at some points so that you can deal maximum damage to him, because you're able to jump up into him. But the converge really helps because it takes out his entire minions, because if you bait them to one side of the screen and you move to the other side of the screen, you're actually able to make them come up quicker, and then you're able to actually kill them off right away. And another thing about the converge is that it's literally, as I said before, it's a max range attack, so you're able to hit him at any point in the screen, and it does a lot of damage as well, which makes the fight go by much quicker. The second phase of the fight, just like Glomstone the Giant, you're going to be dashing all over the place. You're going to need to dodge everything that he throws at you, so you're not going to have exactly the shots that you want to use. But for me, I got pretty lucky because I got the converge a lot in this phase. I got the crack shot, I got the pea shooter, and I got the lobber, a bunch of long range abilities. I got the spread like one time, which you're actually able to use in his fridge phase. So in this phase, you want to just use as many of the long range attacks as possible to be able to get through this phase, because it's a pretty tricky phase and the attacks are much different than what he usually does in the regular mode. And for the last phase of the fight, you want to mostly focus on not taking damage and not falling off the platforms rather than actually dealing damage to him, because no matter where you are on screen, as long as you're facing him, you're going to deal damage all the time. So just be mindful of that, and especially of the eyeball, because it shoots literally every single second and it's the hardest attack to actually dodge in this phase. So really just focus on yourself and not taking damage instead of of actually dealing damage to him, because you will always be dealing damage to him as long as you're facing him throughout the entire phase. It's the hardest phase in this fight for this challenge, and it might take you a couple of tries to actually get it down, but once you get a hang of it, you will be able to complete Mortimer Freeze as part of the Cursed Relic challenge. Now on to Doggone Dog Fight. By this point, if you follow the exact route that I've done, your Cursed Relic should be upgraded quite a bit so that you're actually able to heal much faster with the parries rather than waiting so long to actually heal off them. So for the first phase of this fight, the Converge is going to be your best friend. I literally use the Converge the entire time with this phase. It's actually the best shot for this fight in my opinion, because you're actually able to land hits on him literally while standing on the ground. You don't have to jump or anything, and no matter where you are on the screen, you're always going to be able to hit him, and also parry everything that you see on screen that's pink. Literally gain as much health as you can for the final phase, because you know how hard that final phase is going to be. So gain as much health as you can in this phase, because this is going to be one of the only phases you can actually be able to parry stuff, because the second phase you're going to want to focus more on yourself, and we'll get to that right now. The second phase, as I said, focus more on yourself. Do not risk taking damage for parries, because it's going to be useless just getting that one health just to take damage right away. So just focus on yourself and dodge everything that's in existence. And for the last phase, the parries are actually pretty easy in this phase. The pink lasers actually count towards your health. You want to use that most of the time to get your parry, because that's the only thing you can actually parry in this phase. And for the flip, it's literally all just experience. You need experience in the fight to be able to do this correctly, and the fact that you're playing as Cuphead and not Miss Chalice makes it 10 times harder, because you don't have an invincible roll, and the smoke dash isn't every single dash. So you're gonna have to really be good with the movement and have a good grasp of everything in this fight to be able to do this. And depending of how much you parried, you might have 3 HP or 2 HP or however much HP you have. It doesn't matter, because there's always the chance where you can just lose all your health on one of these phases and just die. So if you have the crack shot, just focus on yourself, don't take damage, and you'll be able to do this easy as pie. Sheriff Winchester is probably going to be the easiest boss in this entire challenge, because you literally only have 2 shots, so you can literally switch between both of them as you will, and it plays out exactly how it does like regular, except you only have 1 HP. So literally just dodge everything, play it how you normally would play it in expert mode if you didn't have 1 HP, because you can just control which shot you have. You only have 2, the lava bombs or the regular shot. You use whichever shot you want to use and you'll do it. So yeah, Moonshine Mob, let's go. For Moonshine Mob, the spread shot and the chaser are going to be your absolute best friends, because in the first phase, the spread, you can literally just get right under him or right above him and shoot him at close range, and it'll end the phase pretty quick. Just dodge all the bombs, dodge everything, literally dodge everything. And for the second and third phase, you'll literally just use the chaser. The chaser will literally win you the entire fight. You don't have to focus on dealing damage, because it's a little homing missile. So just focus on dodging everything in the fight. I know it's gonna be pretty hard as Cuphead, because in the second phase you may not be as fast as the lasers, and you don't have a smoke dash every single time. You mainly want to get your parries in the first phase and the last phase with the tongue. So if you parry the tongue like 2 or 3 times, you literally get extra health. So yeah, I know it's a pretty short explanation for this fight, but it's a pretty difficult fight in my opinion. Probably one of the most difficult fights for this challenge, but literally get the spread and chaser and you're absolutely golden. Now for the final boss of this entire challenge, Chef Saltbaker. Now for me, I did this in 1 try because I have so much experience with this boss, because I literally did it jumpless. But yeah, for the first phase, you're gonna want to use the chaser or get the chaser or crack shot, because it literally will be your best friend, because you can just focus on dodging everything and not doing damage to him. For the second phase, you're gonna want to use everything but the chaser, because the chaser deals literally no damage. You actually want to use the crack shot if you get it by chance, because it literally saves you so much time. It deals a lot of damage, and no matter where you are, it'll literally deal damage to anything on screen. The reason why I don't say the chaser, because it deals no damage whatsoever, but for the crack shot, it actually deals more damage than the chaser. Even the cracks deal more damage, so it's actually better to use the crack shot in this phase to actually make it go by quicker. For the third and fourth phase, get the chaser. The chaser, I'm telling you, the homing missiles in the challenge is amazing, because the chaser, unlike the crack shot, is homing. If you get the crack shot for the final phase, it will not have a 100% hit rate, since it bounces off and sometimes it misses, but for the chaser, it hits 100% of the time. So yeah, if you have the chaser, you will probably win 99% of the time if you're good with the movement. And that's it. You've beaten the entire DLC in expert mode with the Cursed Relic. Thank you guys for watching the video. I just thought about doing this challenge because I wanted to do it. It was pretty fun. I'm not sure if I'll do the rest of the game, like the main game with the Cursed Relic, because that just seems AIDS to do. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more style of videos like this, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.